Ian Sankey from Crystal Computing, and today I'm going to talk to you about a solution we've created called Smart Actions. So, first off, what is the business problem we're trying to solve? Well, we don't want to use customizations, but some requirements cannot currently be delivered without them. So IBM have done a great job of evolving the OpenPages platform with tools that allow for more and more solutions to be delivered with configuration only. However, users sometimes have perfectly reasonable requirements that cannot always be delivered with platform configuration features and requires another tool set to deliver, such as Java, JSP, Event Studio, Unix Batch, etc. So the upside to customization is it solves business problems, business requirements exactly. It improves the usability and productivity for end users when done correctly. It simplifies the user training without having to have those unnecessary business workarounds. And it can improve data quality, particularly for those scenarios where we're deploying data as part of the customization. However, the downside is its time and cost to deliver can be high, often requires specialist skills to deliver, many times not within the team itself that support the solution. There's no standard approach. These problems are solved in many different ways, Java, JSP, Event Studios, etc. It's inflexible to adapt quickly as requirements evolve or change. It's difficult to support and maintain through platform and solution upgrades, and doesn't fit well with agile delivery, where we want to do early show and tells, proof of concepts. Often we deliver a proof of concept without that piece of functionality, which often is actually critical to the success of it. So Smart Actions provide the ability to do much more configuration and deliver many more requirements. So what if there was a way to avoid customization and still deliver requirements? So what we need is an engine that will process requests to do something using existing OpenPages tools such as schedules, workflows, and Cognos reports. The engine must critically provide some key features. So first of all, provide a library of actions, these smart actions, the do somethings. It must use published supported OpenPages APIs. Provide full audit trail logging, so any changes made at all by the engine are fully logged in the platform. Run any combination of smart actions in any defined order. So do something, it could be, move an object, and then perhaps we also want to tell the user that owns that event that it's being moved. So any combination of those smart actions. Be easy to configure, easy to support, easy to upgrade. Run with elevated permissions. Sometimes the reason we have these customizations is because the user cannot perform that themselves for various reasons. So the Smart Action engine needs to have the ability to run with elevated permissions and also be extendable as new features become available, either in the platform or from Crystal. So on the road to zero customization using Smart Actions. So the Smart Action engine does provide a configurable, simple approach to deploying solutions that normally require customization. And as you can see here, the OpenPages platform APIs are in red below the line. Our Smart Action engine sits above that. And then we interface to it using standard Cognos reports and either schedule or workflows to invoke those, the engine. So it's a configurable platform approach. So the first thing is we create a Cognos report, one or more, and each row in that report will contain a Smart Action instruction. The second thing is we'll create a schedule or workflow action to call that Smart Action engine with one or more Cognos reports. And then the engine is the thing that executes the relevant platform APIs. So the engine is trying to take all that complexity away about how you invoke Java and call Java. We just basically want to tell it to do something. So the example that we have here is for a loss event. So we'll have a couple of fields, one saying move object yes or no, and then if it's yes, what the target business entity is. We'll then have the reports that use the data in the event to generate the smart action. So the command will be move record. We'll then pass the record ID or resource ID to move, which in this case is this one, and then the target business entity resource ID. And the other thing that the Smart Action can take is if we want to override the child types to include in that move. So ordinarily the platform move process will move all objects, all child objects in a primary relationship with the parent and in the same folder path. But we can override that and only include certain child types if we want. If we leave it blank, it will move all. The second Smart Action report we've got is to update the record. So having moved it, we want to then reset the move object field to no, and the target business entity to blank. And then we simply need a schedule that calls those two reports. So the schedule Java is the Smart Action Engine, so that's the same for all schedules. And then in this case, we're passing two reports. One is the move event, and the second one is move event reset. Now, just a technical note, we could have implemented this report as one report doing both move record and update record, but for demonstration purposes, it's implemented as two separate ones. So summing it up then, Smart Actions for OpenPages GRC. It simplifies the approach to delivering configured solutions that previously required specialist customizations. So Crystal Computing will deliver the Smart Action Engine, a single jar file and some minimum configuration setup, a set of Smart Action example reports, a license key for the agreed bundle of Smart Actions that the client has purchased, maintenance and support for the Smart Action Engine if required, and documentation for the installation and administration to show you how to use those Smart Actions. The client then creates their own reports to use the Smart Actions that solve their business problems. So the business problems might be things such as a weekly user email of upcoming and overdue tasks. So this is more like a batch email, but all done with schedules and Cognos reports, no other tools required. An RCM theme deployer, so the ability to create objects in different parts of the business entity structure where those requirements will be assessed, and also link them all together. So link requirements to theme evaluations to business entities. And that's probably a 4 or 5 stage process to do that, all very simple with reports. End user object move, so that event move was the example, but we could do a risk move, a control move, any number of different objects, all using the move object Smart Action. Rename business entity is a good usage of the update record Smart Action. So where in the platform today we can't get to the name field of the object in the user interface, we can now use a Smart Action to be able to do that rename. Object anonymization is a hot topic. Often we refresh environment from production to lower environments and we need to anonymize that data. We could use a Smart Action to run the anonymization script or process against those particular objects. Automatically disabling active users and possibly also email the user to tell them it's been their account's been inactivated. Often we're paying licenses to IBM for active users. So if the user is no longer active, perhaps hasn't logged in with the last 90 days, we could write a report that identifies those users, disables them, and then also emails that user with the email telling them they've been disabled. Site sync library object fields to business instances, very common in the risk and control library space where we copy things out of the library, but we need that business instance data to still maintain some field content from the master, things like maybe a master description of the risk. Again, very simple to do with a Smart Action. Records archival and deletion, another hot topic, being able to move data into archive areas and then physically hard delete that data after a period of time. Again, we have Smart Actions for moving records and deletion. Running and attaching reports to an object. So this might become available in the platform at some point. It's not there today. So in this case, the example is on a risk assessment. When that risk assessment completes, we run a report that shows the state of the events, the issues, the actions, all the other stuff attached to that RCSA, and attach that report to the completed risk assessment. We've then got a couple of AI What's-Next examples. So we can use AI What's-Next in the platform for the user to choose an event description perhaps, or some categorization. This scenario is more around where you don't want the user and get invoked in that or involved in that process. So maybe you want to run the event summary against all your historical events, or maybe you want to compare what the Watson classifier would have classified versus what the user picked, and store those both things on there. So different scenarios for Watson. And then the last one is REST API. So rather than have external systems call the OpenPages REST APIs and have to know how to interface with them, we'll simply have them call a Smart Action, passing the values in. So if they're creating records externally, we'll have the create record Smart Action, and they just need to pass the fields as parameters. Makes it much more simpler for people to interface with us. So that concludes the example of what Smart Actions are available. There will be separate demos available demonstrating each of those Smart Actions in process. So for any more information, please contact me, Ian Sankey at Crystal Computing. Cheers.